Right, Lamay. So today we are going to discuss Northwestern Provincial paper. This is grade 9, second term test paper, right? I shared this paper. Hope you have written the answers. You can send me your answers to the chat. I will read these questions. So let's see your answers, right? All of you, please use the chat and comment your answers to the chat. Number 1. Right, now you can unmute. Which of the following answer consists of unicellular and multicellular groups of microorganisms? Yes, your answer, please. Yes, the answer is the first one, correct, right? So in our physical class, we discussed a part of this paper, but in the online class, we didn't. That's why I put this class to this time. So let's see your answers. Right, next question. The technology used to remove the environmental pollutants using microorganisms. Yes, Lamai? Removing environmental pollutants using microorganisms is called bioremediation. Third one, the place of formed a sharp, clear image in the human eye. So where the sharp image is formed? Yeah, yes, what's the place?
Phobia or yellow spot.
Yes, yellow spot. That's the correct answer. Okay, number 4, given below are some mixtures. You can see water and laundry blue, water salt solution, water turmeric powder. What is a homogeneous mixture? What's your answer? What's a homogeneous mixture, or what are the homogeneous mixtures? Yes. Homogeneous means when the two substances are dissolved, or when a solute is dissolved, the color, composition, transparency, these properties are same throughout the mixture. They are the homogeneous mixtures. So what's a homogeneous mixture here? So water laundry blue, no, with the time laundry blue deposits at the bottom. Water salt is okay. Water turmeric powder also not dissolved completely, right? Therefore the answer is B. Given below is an illustration of a force applying on an object. You can see the point. This is the point where we apply the force. So how do you call the point X? What's the answer?
Point of application.
Yes, point of application of force, right? Correct. Not, sorry, the sixth question. The correct symbol of elements sodium, copper, iron respectively. Your answer, please. Sixth one. Anyone can answer.
Third one.
Third one, right? Sodium, copper, iron. Sodium, Na, because the Latin name is natrium. Cu cuprum, and ferrum iron Fe is used, right? Okay. The answer contain an invasive plant and invasive animal. In the lesson biodiversity, we learned this one. These are invasive organisms. Who are they? Yes, Gandapana and Mannava fish, right? You may remember these examples, Gandapana plant and Mannava fish. They are the invasive species. The bicuspid valve located in the human heart is, yes, your answer. Where the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve is located.
Left and
Yes, no?
left ventricular, left atrium.
Yes, in between left atrium and left ventricle, right? In between these two, the bicuspid valve is located, or the mitral valve, and here you can see the tricuspid valve, right? Okay, let's move to the next question. So the answer is left atrium and left ventricle. So which of the following is correct about the artery and vein? Yes. What is the correct one, Lavai? Artery and vein? Tell me, what did you take as the answer? You can see the features of the arteries and veins. Arteries, their walls are thick, but veins, their walls are thin. And arteries are elastic, but veins are less elastic, right? And there are valves found in the veins, no valves in the artery. So these are the structural features, right? Okay. So what is the answer? Third one is okay, no? With thick walls, with thin walls. Number 10. Consider the statements given below. Tell me what's the answer. What did you take as the answer? Right. Here, if the rhesus factor is present in one's blood, he is considered as RH plus, rhesus plus. That's correct. Okay. Second one, a donor with RH plus can donate blood to RH, the recipient with RH minus. No, this is false, am I right? Because RH plus means it that person has the rhesus factor, right, in his blood. So cannot be transfer the blood to a person without that factor, right? Okay, then it's false. The type of blood of a person is determined by considering the both blood group and the rhesus factor. Yes, this is correct. No? So the answer for this question is A and C. Right, the fourth one is the answer. Right, go for the next one. Can you please comment your answer? An artificial growth substance used to get fruits in the off season is.
Sorry to say.
Yes, that's correct. Cytosol is the answer, right? You may remember the place where we learned these things. We learned about plant growth substances, right? Under plant growth substances, we learned this fact, right? So there are several plant growth substances, and especially the artificial plant growth substances are used for this kind of activities. You may remember 2,4-DPA and 2,4,5-TPA, a broadleaf weedicide, IAA, IBA. They are used to induce root formation of stem cuttings and to grow fruits quickly. And to naphthalene acetic acid, it's NA, to prevent premature fruit drops, to induce flowering in pineapple in off season, and to get mango fruits in the off season, right? So what is this question? So what do they ask? They ask the artificial was used to get fruits in off season. So we can take the cytosol as the answer, correct. The locomotive appendages of a snail is, what is the appendage of a snail? Yes,
Muscular foot.
muscular foot. Okay, different organisms, they use different locomotory organs for the locomotion. So amoeba use pseudopodia and euglena. Can you remember? Can you go through these things quickly? Euglena, what's organ? What's the locomotory organ of euglena? It's a flagellum, paramecium, cilia, earthworm. It's used its body, right? And snail, this is the question, muscular foot. And some other animals, they have different body organs, right? You have learned this one. Please refer this part, okay? Right. So here the answer is muscular foot. Given below are some structures of the human ear. So the question is the structures are not contribute for the hearing. So which part is not contributing for the hearing, Lamai?
B.
Yes. What are the parts? Can you tell me the names? Can you tell me the names? Right here, they have mentioned these two parts. What are they? The Eustachian tube and the semicircular canal, right? So these two are not related to the hearing. They are doing some other functions, right? Eustachian tube, it's balancing the pressure of either side of the tympanic membrane. And semicircular canal, it's important for the balancing of our body, right? So they are the things. So here these two are the two things. Then the answer is A and C. 14th question. Not a feature that can be seen in plants in a montane forest. What's the feature? Yes. You may remember we learned these features, right? In the lesson biodiversity, the montane forest.
Uh,
Can you tell me the answer? Yes.
Fourth one.
Fourth one. What's the fourth one? Yeah, see, this is an example for the montane forest, right? You can see the features, right? And twisted and stunted, right? Branches. Yes, that is correct because thorny uh, plants, thorny bushes are found in the thorny bushes and scrublands, right? That environment it's totally different from the montane forest, right? Okay, number 15 and 16, based on this diagram, you can see this is a setup of electrolysis of copper sulfate solution. So what's the answer? During the electrolysis, what happens, Lamai? Yes. The thing happen, uh, this solution contains different ions, copper ions, sulfate ions, hydrogen and hydroxyl ions, right? From these ions, copper ions will be deposited on the negative electrode because copper ions are positively charged ions, right? That is one thing. So the other terminal, other electrode, around this electrode, you can see the bubbles, right? The bubbles are all here. So which one is the answer, Laman? Gas bubbles all at the positive electrode, the negative electrode turns into reddish brown. This is the answer, number one. Second question, what's the observation can be seen in A when using distilled water instead of copper sulfate? If you use distilled water, what is the observation? Yes, reading not change, increase the reading, decrease the reading, zero, reading becomes zero. Yes, the answer is reading becomes zero. Can you tell me the reason why is reading becomes zero here? Yeah, what's the reason? Because distilled water is a non-electrolyte. That means it's not conducting electricity. So many normally electrolytes, the liquids or solutions which conduct electricity are showing some changes when electricity is passed through them, but non-electrolytes are not. Right? So the answer is this. Number 17. Weevils are originated from decayed sawdust. The most suitable answer for given statement is. Yes, can you tell me the most suitable answer? You have learned this one in the lesson evolution, right? You learn different theories related to the origin of organisms. There are four main
Theory
theories.
of spontaneous generation.
Very good, sir. Right? This is the theory of spontaneous generation. That's correct. So these are the four theories that you learn. Let's remind it. Theory of special creation, spontaneous generation theory, cosmozoic theory, theory of biochemical evolution. Right? From these theories, you learn about the spontaneous generation theory. It says these organisms are, or the life was originated from non-living things in a spontaneous manner. So rats from the piece of cloths and maggots from rotten meat and the weevil is from decayed wood. And the scientist Louis Pasteur prepared an experiment, and he proved that the spontaneous generation theory is not an acceptable theory, right? Okay, he disproved that theory. Okay, next one. So the answer is theory of spontaneous generation. Number of elements consists of a compound, potassium, permanganate, KMnO4. How many elements are here?
3.
3 elements. Can you tell me the 3 elements? What are they? Potassium, K, manganese, Mn, and oxygen. These are the 3 elements, right? Your answer is correct. Not an example for fossil is. What is the answer? What is not an example for a fossil? Read this one.
Preserved sample of organisms in
Yes,
laboratory.
preserved samples of organisms in laboratories. Correct. 20th question. An ecosystem which identified in wet Patana grassland is. Wet Patana grassland, what is it, Lamai? Yes, we learned the grasslands, right? The grassland part, we discussed this. Right, so this is how we learn the ecosystems in Sri Lanka. Let's revise it. There are natural ecosystems and man-made. Natural ecosystems are divided into 2 parts, natural aquatic ecosystem and natural terrestrial. So the natural aquatic, freshwater, marine water, brackish water, there are 3 types of them. So natural terrestrial environments, forest and grasslands, they are the 2 things. So forest and grasslands, so you learn different types of forest and different types of grasslands. So this question is from the grassland part. Let me show you that one. So what are the grassland environments? I told you, first one we learned wet patana, right? So I think the question from this part, yeah, grassland. So this kind of environments are there. Examples, Horton Plains, Bopattalawa, Bhagavantalawa. And I told you the plants like Maratmal, and this is a kind of, what is it, Usnia, lichen, and the Pteridium. This fern also found in the wet Patana environment. And dry Patana, this kind of environment. The man is the very common plant. Right, Rakwana and Uva Basin, they are the examples. And Damana, low country dry zone. Vilpattu, Madruya, Valikanda, these are the examples where we can find Damana grasslands in our country. And Talav. Talav is located in low country wet zone. Kalutara, Haldumulla, Matra district, they are the examples. So now tell me what's the answer. So question is wet Patana grassland, right? Wet Patana grassland, where you can find wet Patana grassland. So these are the 3 examples given. What are they? Horton Plains, Bopattalav and Bhagavantalav. Has it given in the question? See? Yeah, we have Bopattalav, no? So you can take it. Right, so now the first part is done. You count how many answers are correct and then multiply your answers by 2. Then Lamai take your total mark, right? Right, 40. Okay, if all are correct, you can take 40 marks out of 4 for the MCQ. Right. Please comment your marks to the chat. I'm going to start the second part. Right, this is the first question. This question based on the lesson biodiversity. The first question. Let's see what are the given answers, right? Given above is a picture drawn to investigate the biodiversity of the environment. Define the term biodiversity. Yes, how do you define it, Laman? Can anyone tell me your answer first? I did right. So in this lesson, You learn three types of diversities, right? What are they? You learn ecosystem diversity. Ecosystems where the animals and plants live, they are different. And species diversity, then you learn genetic diversity, right? So the species are differ from one another, and in the same species, the organisms are differ from one another. Think about the humans. We belong to the Homo sapiens sapiens. So we also show in a vast diversity. So when you consider these three types of diversities, right? Ecosystem, species, and genetic, the combination of these three diversities are called as biodiversity, right? The combination of these three diversities is the biodiversity, right? So biodiversity is the combination of ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and genetic diversity. You can remember this, right? That's the first one, and you can take 1 mark. Please put the marks. Take a red pen and correct your marks. Correct the answers and then put the marks. Try two levels that can be used to identify the biodiversity. So the levels means mainly we identified diversity in the species or the genetic diversity, ecosystem diversity. You can write two of them and take 2 marks, right? So name a natural aquatic environment given in the picture. What did you identify here? Tell me one natural, yes, natural aquatic environment here. What is it, Lamai? What's the natural aquatic environment you can find in this picture? Yeah, it's very easy. Here you can see there's a river.
Rivers.
Yes, rivers, correct. And you can see there's a pond-like environment. So you can take 1 mark. Mention a living, non-living relationship. Give me one example quickly. Living, non-living. Yeah, living, non-living. Yes, what's a living, non-living relationship? There are living organisms. Plants are living organisms, right? They take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they absorb water, right? They are doing photosynthesis. These are the living, non-living interactions, right? Okay. The animals like fish, they live in water as they use their habitat, right? They use water as their habitat. They can be written. Okay. State character can be used to identify this as a man-made ecosystem. How do you say? What are the evidences to say as is a man-made ecosystem? Give me one example, one clue.
There are artificial bee shelters.
Yes, artificial bee shelters. Okay, good. What else? That is one thing that you have noted. Okay.
The tree is cut.
The tree is cut. Can we say that one has a feature of what do you call? What is the question? A man-made ecosystem? Yes, it's a kind of evidence, but there are some other evidences other than the tree cut. So even in a natural environment, people go and cut the trees, no? Can't you see a cultivated land here? Yes. This also okay, right? I will give marks for this one as well. Doesn't matter. The cutting down trees and the cultivated lands are there and the bee shelter, right? And these animals, see, they are tied to a kind of pole, right? So 1 mark. What is known as an ecosystem? What do you mean by the ecosystem, Ramai? How do you define an ecosystem? Yeah. So in an ecosystem, there are living things, right? Non-living things, as well as their interactions, right? So a system that includes living or living organisms, we call biotic factors, and as well as, physical environment, abiotic factors, and interactions with one another as a unit, right? We call it as an ecosystem, right? Let's move on. So take marks, put 2 marks. Given below are steps and observations and the observations of an activity done by a group of students. Measure the mass of an empty beaker. The mass is 75 grams. Then put 200 cubic centimeters of X liquid into beaker. Measure the mass of the beaker with liquid, right? And it is 275 grams. Okay. Mention a suitable instrument used to measure the mass. What's the suitable instrument? This time. What is the instrument used to measure the mass? If you remember this practical, then you can say this answer very quickly, right? What we used in the lesson density to measure the mass of liquid.
Triple beam balance.
Yes, that's correct. Triple beam balance, right? We use the triple beam balance, and the other equipments are measuring cylinder. These are the things, right? And then we, yes, did some calculations in that lesson. So 1 mark. Find the mass of added liquid volume, right? So how much is the mass of the liquid? So 275 is the mass of beaker with liquid. So the mass of beaker is 75. So you can find the liquid mass. How much? 275 minus 75 grams, right? So what's the answer? What's the answer?
200 grams.
Yes, it is 200 grams. It says, right. Write a relationship can be used to calculate the density of the liquid, right? What's the relationship? How do you find the density? Tell me that. Density equals mass over what? Volume, right? Density equals mass over volume. This is how we find it. Okay. It's the relationship. Take 1 mark. So, no, this one, right. Find the density of X liquid, right? So now you know the mass. Mass of the liquid is 200 grams. And what's the volume of the liquid? It's 200 cubic centimeters. How do you write cubic centimeters? cm3, right? So division. So these two cancel. These two are cancelled. Then what's the answer? 200 can be cancelled. 1 grams per cubic centimeters, right? 1 grams per cubic centimeter. This is the unit of the density, right? Is this SI unit of measuring density? Is this SI unit of measuring density? Lamai? What's SI unit of measuring density?
Hydrometer.
No. I'm asking the what's the SI unit of measuring density?
Sorry.
We got this unit, So it is kilograms per cubic meters, right? Remember, these things are very important for you, right? Next one, number 5. Name the instrument used to measure the density of liquid. As you say, that's correct. That's a hydrometer, 1 mark. And mention 2 instances of using above instrument in day-to-day life. Right? Yes, Samay? So, what are the instruments? Not the instruments, actually. They're asking about the instances, you know? What are the instances where we use the hydrometer in day-to-day life? We can measure the density of cow's milk, rubber latex, and even during the production of car batteries to measure the density of battery acid, and during the production of alcohol to measure the density it's used, right? Now it's 2 marks. Now that is the first question. You count how many are correct, how many questions are correct, and you can comment your marks to the chat. I'm going to start the second question. Right, Lamai, let's go for the next question, number 2. There are favorable as well as unfavorable impact of microorganisms. Define who are microorganisms. Yes, tell me. Who are microorganisms? Right, you can say the answer. They are unicellular or multicellular organisms which cannot be seen clearly with the naked eye when taken individually, right? Take 2 marks. Unicellular or multicellular organism which cannot be seen through the naked eye when they are taken individually. Did you write that definition, Lamai? Is that answer correct? You see, this is how we define the term, right? In the lesson, we define it like this. Second question. Name the extreme environments which microbes can survive. What did you like? Write. Give me at least one example. What are the extreme environments where they can survive? They live in high saline environments, volcanoes, glaciers. One second, Lamai. Give me a second. Okay, then they are the extreme environments. You can answer. And name the group of microorganisms which are all are autotrophs. In which group we can find all the organisms are autotrophs, Lamai? Yes? You may remember we learned about the algae, right? In algae, all the organisms are autotrophs, right? Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, diatoms, right? These are the examples. Even this kind of algae like vulva, Spirogyra, right? They all are autotrophic organisms. Antibiotics are used to treat the disease caused by microorganisms. What are known as antibiotics? Yes, can you try? It's better if you can give the answer, right? Otherwise, I will tell you the answer, but better if you can take an attempt, right? There are, yes. What are antibiotics? Remember that part? Under the medicinal effect of applications, right? We learned there are three main medicinal effects of microorganisms producing antibiotics, vaccines, and antitoxins, right? So under antibiotics, you learn the definition. They are the chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism, right? They are called antibiotics. And you learn several antibiotics: penicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline, erythromycin, and they are used for bacterial infections. And we learn one for the fungal infections. Remember that one? How do you call it? You can unmute, Lamai. How do you call it? That's a griseofulvin, right? Take 1 mark. So for the definition, you can take 1 mark. Mention a group of microorganisms used to produce antibiotic. You can use you can write bacteria or fungus, right? Fungi, bacteria. Name a vaccine made from vegan microbes. What's the answer? I think you remember this one. I gave you this one.
Polio.
Polio, yes, good. Polio, tuberculosis, measles. So this vaccine contain vegan microorganism, right? The killed microorganism in ICT, right? I told you the short method as well, right? If you don't remember, please study this part again, right? Okay. What is our next question? 1 second, am I? In the present, dengue disease become deadly condition to human. Name a pathogen and a vector of dengue disease. Pathogen and a vector. Pathogen is the organism who is causing the disease. Vector is the organism who is transferring the disease.
Pathogen is dengue virus and vector is mosquito.
Mosquito, very good, right? Mosquito, right? 2 marks. Write a man-made product which produced by using harmful pathogenic bacteria called anthrax. Biological weapons, correct, right? Take 1 mark. Now you can count how many marks you got out of 11, right? And put your marks here, your marks out of 11. Right? If you got 11 marks, then you can write like this. So this is the question number 2. Let's move to the third question. You are given a setup and it says it's prepared for electrolysis of acidulated water. Name the type of gases produced in A and B test tubes. Yes. So here you see, use this one, Lamai, the power supply, and the positive terminal is connected to A tube, and positive terminal is connected to the electrode or the carbon rod of A tube, negative here, right? So what are the types of gases? Yeah.
On positive side, oxygen, and negative side, hydrogen.
Yes, correct, right? On positive side, it's oxygen. So oxygen gas is collected here. And the negative side, it is hydrogen. Good. H2. 2 marks. If the volume of the gas collected at the A test tubes is 2 cubic centimeters, what's the approximate volume of the gas collected in the B tube? So A tube is this one. If this much is collected, how much is the volume collected in the B tube? You know the ratio, right? The gas, when gas collecting, hydrogen is to oxygen ratio is, what's the ratio? Yeah, 2:1, right? So if 2 cubic centimeters are collected here, how much is the volume collected in hydrogen? Yes?
4 cubic centimeters.
4 cubic centimeters, very good, right? That is 4 cubic centimeters. Take 1 mark. After collected gas to B tube, put a lighted splint into it. Then what is the observation? When you inserted lighted splint, what's the observation, Lamai? Yes? Lighted splint is inserted. What's the observation? B tube means what? B tube is hydrogen tube. When you put a lighted splint into the hydrogen gas, what is the observation? It burns with a pop sound, right? It burns with a pop sound. 1 mark. Write a change that can be done to the setup to increase the speed of evolving gas bubbles.
Increasing the voltage.
Yes, very good. Increasing the voltage. You can increase the voltage, right? Or you can supply high current. Okay. State an application of electrolysis in industrial field. Where have you used electrolysis?
Electroplating.
Yes, very good. Electroplating, extraction of metals, extraction or the producing sodium hydroxide. Okay, yeah. So that is the part A of third question. Now part B, you can identify this defect, Lamai. So you can see light rays are coming from a faraway object because they are parallel, right? So when these parallel rays are coming from a faraway object, they are collected in front of the retina. That means it's a defect. So what is this defect?
Short side.
What side?
Short side.
Short sight, right? What is the other name given for the short sight? Anyone can try, please, girls. Unmute and tell me the answers. Ko may antlamai.
Myopia.
Yes, right. This is called myopia, right? Short sight means these people can see the short distance objects, but they are unable to see the objects which are at the far, right? Far away distance. Okay. Name the defect, eye defect of this person suffering. Name the eye defect of this person. So what is that, Lamai? Okay, we answered that is short sight. Mention a reason for arising this defect. What are the reasons, Lamai? We learned two reasons. Yes. This eyeball is being
short.
yeah, not short, it's long, right? I mean long eyeball. And when you are looking at a faraway object, what should happen to the curvature of the eye lens? Curvature. When you're looking at a faraway object, what happens to the curvature of the eye lens? It should decrease, right? Curvature should be decreased, but inability to decrease the curvature is another reason for this defect, right? You can write one of those. An instance of corrected this defect is given in the figure. Draw it and on your answer, and then you have to complete this path. So now you can see the two lines are given. Okay, let me complete the rest. So when these light rays are going, Lamai, they are collected. Wait a minute. Go back. Right, so they are going like this. And then what happens? This lens, right? The eye lens is collecting them onto the retina. So remember to mark this arrowhead, right? Don't forget it because arrowheads are needed, right? To show the light rays, you need to draw the arrowheads. Now it is completed. 2 marks for this, right? Name an eye disease. Tell me one eye disease, come on. Name an eye disease.
Glaucoma.
What is it? Glaucoma. Okay. Anyone else? Any other eye disease? Glaucoma is correct. Cataract. Cataract also correct, right? Okay. So that is the end of this question. You can collect your marks and see your total for the question number 3. Right. Let's move on to the fourth question. Given below are steps of an activity designed by students to identify the factors affect for pressure. You can see there are 2 bottles, but different sizes, 2 calibrated vessels of same weight, but different in cross-sectional areas. Place them on the sponge Okay, you are given a sponge as well. Then mention the expected observation of this activity. Okay, so what do you think, Lavan? What do you expect? Which bottle will compress more? Or which bottle can compress the height of the sponge or reduce the height of the sponge? Yeah. It based on the cross-sectional area of the bottom, right? You know, large cross-sectional areas, large bases are exerting less pressure. If the cross-sectional area is less, it creates high pressure. You may remember this activity that we learned, a kind of activity using a pen, right? I asked you to keep a pen in between your thumb fingers, and then I asked you to press it. So the pointed side exerts a greater pain, right, on your hand or the finger, right? Why is that? Because less surface area, high pressure. So here also same. So you can see the height or the radius of the height of the sponge B is more, right, than the A, right? B bottle can reduce the size height of the sponge. Okay, so that's the answer. Explain the reason. The reason is, less surface area increase the or creates a high pressure. Okay, if the surface area is less, it creates a high pressure. Mention another factor for pressure except the factor tested in this activity. What's the other factor, Lamai? What's the other factor that affect the pressure? One is surface area. Can you name the other one? Yeah. What is the other factor? Perpendicular force, right? Perpendicular force and surface area, the other two things. Okay, next one. Mention, so what is the pressure exerted on the surface of 2 square meters when the perpendicular force of 400 Newton is acting on it? So you can write P equals F over A. Pressure equals perpendicular force over area. So the pressure, 400 newtons divided by 2m squared, right? So when you divide it, 400 divided by 2, it's 200, right? 200 newtons per square meters. The per mark should be there, right? Can you tell me another unit instead of newtons per square meters? What's the other unit?
Pascal.
Pascals. Very good, right? That's correct. Mention a strategy used to increase the pressure in day-to-day life. One example that you know. Yes. We'll give you one example. Sharp a knife, right? If you can sharp a knife, that's a one example. And the injection needle, it has a pointy tip. It increases the pressure, right, by reducing the area. Okay, you think and tell me if you have a doubt, then I will explain. For heavy loaded truck and containers are made with a large number of wheels. Explain the reason scientifically. What's the reason, Labai?
To reduce the pressure.
Yes, to reduce the pressure. So what is increased to reduce the pressure?
The surface area of the
Surface
wheels.
area, right? Yes. When the number of wheels are increased, the surface area also increased, right? Therefore, what happened? Therefore, Lamai,
Pressure
pressure
decreases.
decreases. Yes, pressure decreases. 2 marks, right? If this student wants to measure the weight of this vessel, what's the instrument that can be measure the weight? Yes, to measure the weight, can you tell me one instrument? You can write Newton's balance, right? Using the Newton balance, directly we can find the weight. Mention the standard unit of weight What's the unit of weight, Lamai? That is Newton, right? Newton. Okay, now the fourth question is over. And find your marks out of 11. And let me know if you have any doubt, right, regarding these questions. We are moving to the question number 5. And we have only 3 more questions to complete, Lamai. So we will complete this paper and then we'll stop, right? Matters are contribute to create the environment. They can be classified according to the different features, right? Explain what are known as mixtures. First one is what are known as mixtures. Do you have an answer? How do you define mixtures? Mixtures are the matter containing 2 or more constituents, right? You can write this. Matter that contain 2 or more constituents. That's known as mixture, right? Take 1 mark. Mention 2 constituents contained in the following mixtures. Seawater. I need your answers. Seawater.
Salt.
Yeah, salt. Salt. Water. Dissolved
Yes.
gases. Yeah, they are correct. Crude oil.
Petrol, diesel.
Correct. Petrol, diesel, tar, kerosene. They are the constituents, right? Take 1 mark. 1 for each. And you are given some methods, right? To see, following are some physical methods of separating constituent in a mixture. First one, panning, steam distillation, fractional distillation, distillation, vaporization. So the first one, separating cinnamon oil from cinnamon leaves. What's the method? Cinnamon leaves from cinnamon oil. Sorry, cinnamon oil from cinnamon leaves. Cinnamon oil from cinnamon leaves, yes.
Steam
Steam
distillation.
distillation, very good, right? Steam. Then second one, separating gems from ores.
Panning.
Yeah, panning, okay. Panning will be okay, right? Panning is one which is given, no? Right, take 2 marks, right? 1 for each. Only 1 mark for both, 1. B part, atoms is the building unit of matter. Complete the table regarding about the subatomic particles. Protons, what's the charge of proton? Proton charge? Positive, Lamai. Electrons, negative, you write in words. Electrons negative, and their mass. The mass relative to proton is 1, and here electron 1 over 1840. Right, check whether your answers are correct. And you are given an information about the fluorine. What's the atomic number? See the standard symbol. Tell me the atomic number. What's the atomic number, Lamai? Atomic number of fluorine.
19.
No, 19. No. So this is the atomic number. So atomic number is 9. 19 is the mass number, Puta, right? 19 is the mass number. What do you mean by the atomic number? What do you mean by the atomic number? Number of what?
Number of protons.
Yes, number of protons. So it has 9 protons, right? And what is the number of neutrons in the F atom? How many neutrons are there?
10
10. How do you find it?
by subtracting 9 from 19.
19 minus 9, no? So mass number minus, what do you call? Mass number means protons and neutrons, you know? So You can subtract 9. 9 is atomic number, so it's 10, no? 10. What is the type of subatomic particle with equal to the atomic number of an atom? What's the type?
Protons.
Protons.
Protons, correct. Protons. Okay, then we answered that one also, right? Done. This is the question number 5, right? See how many answers you got correctly. How many marks are there? So we are moving to question number 6. Blood is consist with main two parts as blood plasma and corpuscles. It's important for proper maintenance of the blood body functions. Mention two components contained in human blood plasma. What are the components? Water is one component. Can you tell me some other component? What is the main component in plasma? And it has nutrients, gases, right? So you can mention it. 2 marks. And then you are given a table. Have to write the corpuscles type for blood clotting process. Which is needed for the clotting?
Platelets.
Correct, platelets. For the transportation of oxygen? For the transportation of oxygen? What is needed for the transportation of oxygen?
Red blood cells.
Red blood cells, very good. And for destroying pathogens?
White blood cells.
Yeah, white blood cells, right? White blood cells. Did you learn a special name for the red blood cells? Any other name? I think you learned. What is the other name given for the red blood cells? Erythrocytes. And for the white blood cell, leukocytes. Okay. And part B, a student prepared following chart for represent the compatibility of blood group during the blood transfusion. Define what is blood transfusion. How do you define it, Lamai? Yes. How do you define blood transfusion? This is how we can define the transfer of blood from one individual to another. The transfer of blood from one individual to another is known as a blood transfusion. 2 marks. According to chart mentioned, the universal donor and the universal recipient. Who is the universal donor? That means that person can donate blood to anyone. Who is the donor, universal?
The O type.
Yes, Lamai? Yeah, the person who donates blood to, the person who donates blood is the donor. So if he can donate blood to anyone, he is the universal donor, right? And the person who receives blood is the recipient. If he can receive blood from anyone, he is the universal recipient, right? So here, can you tell me the universal donor? Who is the donor? It is O, right? O can donate blood to anyone, see? And who is the recipient?
AB.
AB, right? AB is the recipient. Good. Mention the condition can be occurred when blood groups of donor and recipients are incompatible. We learned a nice term for that. What is it? Sorry. What's the name given for that?
Blood agglutination.
Yes, very good, right? That is blood agglutination. Agglutination, I think is correct, no? See? Seventh, last question. Write a favorable habit to maintain healthy blood circulatory system. How do you maintain it? Maintain a healthy blood circulatory system. See, there are some points. Doing regular exercises, having a balanced diet, minimizing salt consumption, and by doing meditations, right, we can have a healthy circulatory system. And these are some other points, right? Mentally less stressful lifestyle. They are very important points, right? Refrain from smoking and liquor. So you can write anything, right, that you can see here. Right, so that's the last question of the sixth one. Now the seventh question, right? Given below is a chart illustrated by nature diary of a student prepared for the lesson of the support and movement of organisms. Okay. So first one, plant movements, tropic movements, and what's the other type? Tropic and what is the element? We call nastic movements, right? Second, next one, tropic movements further divides as positive tropism and what would be this?
Negative tropism.
Negative tropism, right? Negative tropism. Then, negative tropism or negative tropic movements. So, see, okay, they are not asking us to complete, but we'll see the questions. Write the suitable answer for the yes, that's the question. No, A, B, C. Now we filled A and B. What is C? Can you tell me one example for positive tropic movement? It should be a positive and the tropic. Positive tropic movement. What is that, Ramai? Under plant movements, we learn several plant movements, no? So the reason for calling tropic, they are the growth movements and the movement that occurs due to the direct influence between the direction of the stimulus and the direction of the response, right? So here the stimulus is light, direction of the response, that means grow when the plants are growing, they are growing towards the light. Sometimes there are some tropic modes which are happening away from the light, away from that, right? So tell me the names of these movements. How do you call this tropic movement? Yeah, the first one. Can you tell me the name? This is positive phototropic movement. Now you can see the root system is growing towards the ground, right? It's called positive geotropic movement, but the shoot system, it's growing away from the ground. We call negative geotropic movement. See the plants, they are growing towards sunlight, towards light. That's also positive phototropic movement. Okay. Can you tell me this movement? How do you name this movement?
Positive geotropism.
Yes, this is positive geotropic movement, right? Not geotropism, sorry. I'm sorry, this is not geotropism. It's growing towards water. It is called positive hydrotropism. Name this movement. The pollens, they are growing towards the ovary.
Positive chemotropism.
Positive chemotropism, yes, correct. This is due to an attraction of chemicals. How about this one? The tendrils are winding around the host or another plant. This is called positive thigmotropism. And what about this movement? Now you can see it's a mangrove environment. Roots are coming outward, right? Normal thing is roots are growing towards the gravity, but here this kind of pencil roots or knee roots or respiratory roots, they come outward. How do you call this movement? We call it as negative geotropic movement, right? And this is the nastic movements. Nastic movements means the response of the direction does not depend on the direction of the stimulus, right? You can't see any what do you call relationship between the direction of the stimulus and the response, right? So when sleeping leaves in the evening, it's a type of nastic movement. What is the type? How do you call this? Yes. How do you call this? We call it as a nyctinastic movement. Sesbania, mimosa. Yeah, mimosa is not, ne? Yeah, even mimosa, right? Tamarind. Tamarind, mainly we learn tamarind, sesbania leaves, right? Their leaves are shrinking or sleeping in the evening. When you touch, mimosa leaves are shrinking. We call this movement as haptonastic. And when you make a kind of vibration, seismonastic movement. And the flowers are blooming due to the effect of sun. It's called photonastic, right? And you may remember this one also. We learned the reason for this. Okay, right, Lamai? So then you can take 3 marks for the first question. Explain what are known as tropic movements. Yeah, tropic movements. I think we already answered, you know. Okay, you can write it. What are tropic movements? Can you write the answer? Tell me the answer for the tropic movements. Yes, Lamai. Tropic movements are growth or movement that occurs due to the direct influence between the direction of the stimulus and the direction of the response, right? You can write this answer. Next one. What helps to maintain the rigidity of non-woody plants? Woody plants and non-woody plants, they are using 2 methods to maintain their rigidity. So these are non-woody plants, right? So without water, the plant stem bends aside. But when you pour water, stay erect. They are the non-woody plants. But woody plants, they have a woody stem, right? Hard wood is there, and which is made of cellulose and lignins. They also deposited. So the answer for this one is, what's the answer? That is water. Mention an example for non-woody plant. You can write balsam or any other plant. If you have a different answer, let me know. Kundalu, අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. Name a system important for the rigidity in human body, which helps us to maintain our rigidity. What's the system? Yes. What helps our rigidity, Raman? Yes, mainly our skeletal system, right? It helps our rigidity, and the muscles are helping us to show the movements, right? The elbow joint is very important for the proper function of the hand. Name 2 bones in lower of the elbow joint in forearm. Okay, so what are those 2 bones? These are the 2 bones, ulna and radius bones, right? And that's what they asked me. Once again, the question. Name the 2 bones in the lower of the elbow joints in the forearm. Yes. That's the answer. B. Which muscle produce energy to the bend elbow joint? Yes. Which muscle produce energy to the bend elbow joint? What are the muscle? Which muscle, you know? Not muscles, muscle. Yes, what's that muscle?
Triceps muscle.
It's biceps muscle, you know. Triceps also need, but I think biceps is the main muscle. Which muscle produce energy to bend the elbow joint? Okay. So both biceps and triceps are involved in this. Okay, take 1 mark. Right, Lamai, that is the end of today paper discussion. Hope you understand this well. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. I will explain during the next class, right? Okay, see you next day. Goodbye, children, and good night, everyone.
Good night.